In this video, we will discuss Dictionary Section GST Act 1999. We will explain dictionary words and their meaning. Please note that these meanings of words explained will only be relevant to GST purposes unless regulations specify any other meanings. Please find disclaimer on screen. If this is your first visit to our channel, we would like to inform you that this video is part of a video series explaining GST Act 1999. Are you interested in learning more about GST Act Australia? Please check our playlist on our YouTube channel for this subject. This is video number 7 of GST series. In this video we will discuss Division 195 from Chapter 6 Volume 2 of GST Act 1999. This section of GST Act is Dictionary of this Act. GST Dictionary have about 383 words in total on April 11, 2023. Word count is subject to change in future. Please find this section in Volume 2 of Chapter 6 of GST Act 1999 from pages 171 to 217. There is link in description box. You can access free copies of GST Act there. We will try to explain all dictionary words in sequence videos. In this video, we will explain dictionary words contained in pages 178 to 184 from Volume 2 of GST Act. We will explain from word, consideration to word, employee share scheme of GST Dictionary. We will discuss this video in following order. 1. List of words from GST Act. 2. Explanation of listed words and their meaning. 3. A question and answer activity for you. Let's start. Please find on screen words from GST Act 1999. We will explain these words in later section of this video. These words are from Division 195 of GST Act. This division is last division of GST Act 1999. On screen are the words from pages 178 to 184 of Volume 2. Please check our last video, that is video number 6 of GST video series. We will read the words as we go through. Please pause to read other related information, or go to GST Act to read the information. Not all the meanings are explained in GST Dictionary. What this means is that other sections of GST Act explain these meanings. We will try to explain these words in later sections of this video. Word number 1. Consideration. 2. Consolidated group. 3. Consumer. 4. Contributing operator. 5. Contributing operator's payment. 6. Contribution amount. 7. Corrected GST amount. 8. Corrected input tax credit amount. 9. Course materials. 10. Creditable acquisition. 11. Creditable at less than 1/11th of the consideration. Next page. Page 179, word number 12. Creditable importation. 13. Creditable purpose. 14. CTP ancillary payment or supply. 15. CTP compensation or ancillary payment or supply. 16. CTP compensation payment or supply. 17. CTP dual premium or election payment or supply. 18. CTP hybrid payment or supply. 19. CTP premium. Next page. Page 180, word number 20. Current GST lodgement record. 21. Current GST turnover. 22. Customs clearance area. 23. Customs duty. 24. Customs value. 25. Dealer in precious metal. 26. Decreasing adjustment. Next page. Page 181. Word number 27. Dental practitioner. Next page. Page 182. Word number 28. Deposit account. 29. Derived. 30. Digital currency. 31. Disability Services Minister. Next page. Page 183, word number 32. Dividend. 33. Early net amount. 34. Education course. 35. Education institution. 36. Electronic communication. 37. Electronic distribution platform. 38. Electronic lodgement turnover threshold. 39. Electronic payment. 40. Eligible Australian carbon credit unit. Next and last page for this video. Page number 184, word number 41. Eligible emissions unit. 42. Eligible international emissions unit. 43. Employee share scheme. 44. Indoors charity. 45. English language course for overseas students. We will try explaining these 45 words from GST Dictionary, that is from pages 178 to 184 of Volume 2 of GST Act. We will try to explain mentioned words in this video in best possible manner. We would appreciate your feedback. We will have 7 sections for this video, 1 section for each page of GST Dictionary mentioned in this video. Section 1. We will explain these words on screen in Section 1 of this video. You can find these words on page 178 in Division 195 of GST Act Volume 2. We will discuss these words from GST Dictionary. 1. Consideration. 2. Consolidated group. 3. Consumer. 4. Contributing operator. 5. Contributing operator's payment. 6. Contribution amount. 7. Corrected GST amount. 8. Corrected input tax credit amount. 9. Course materials. 10. Creditable acquisition. 11. Creditable at less than 1/11th of the consideration. Firstly, we will look at meaning of word consideration. One of the meaning of consideration outside of GST is payment or reward. Let's have a look what consideration means in GST Dictionary. You can find this in sections 9 to 15 and 9 to 17 of GST Act Volume 1, page number 14 and 15. Section 9 to 15 states that 1. Consideration includes a. Any payment or any act or forbearance in connection with the supply of anything, and b. Any payment or any act or forbearance in response to or for the inducement of a supply of anything. 2. It does not matter whether the payment, act or forbearance was voluntary, or whether it was by the recipient of the supply. 2a. It does not matter a. Whether the payment, act or forbearance was in compliance with an order of a court, or of a tribunal or other body that has the power to make orders, or b. Whether the payment, act or forbearance was in compliance with a settlement relating to proceedings before a court, or before a tribunal or other body that has the power to make orders. 2b. For the avoidance of doubt, the fact that the supplier is an entity of which the recipient of the supply is a member, or that the supplier is an entity that only makes supplies to its members, does not prevent the payment, act, or forbearance from being consideration. Section 9 to 17 states what is not consideration. Certain payments and other things not consideration. 1. If a right or option to acquire a thing is granted, then a. The consideration for the supply of the thing on the exercise of the right or option is limited to any additional consideration provided either for the supply or in connection with the exercise of the right or option, or b. If there is no such additional consideration, there is no consideration for the supply. 2. Making a gift to a non-profit body is not the provision of consideration. 3. A payment is not the provision of consideration if a. The payment is made by a government-related entity to another government-related entity for making a supply, and b. The payment is I. Covered by an appropriation under an Australian law, or 2. Made under the National Health Reform Agreement agreed to by the Council of Australian Governments on August 2, 2011, as amended from time to time, or 3. Made under another agreement entered into to implement the National Health Reform Agreement, and c. The payment is calculated on the basis that the sum of I. The payment, including the amounts of any other such payments, relating to the supply, and 2. Anything, including any payment for any act or forbearance, that the other government-related entity receives from another entity in connection with, or in response to, or for the inducement of, the supply, or for any other related supply, does not exceed the supplier's anticipated or actual costs of making those supplies. 4. A payment is not the provision of consideration if the payment is made by a government-related entity to another government-related entity, and the payment is of a kind specified in regulations made for the purposes of this subsection. 5. This section applies despite section 9 to 15. Friends, consideration explained before is only relation to supply and acquisitions. However, consideration is affected by other sections of GST Act. We will discuss these in our later videos. To stay updated, please subscribe to our channel. Word number 2. Consolidated group has the meaning given by Section 703-5 of the ITAA 1999. Income Tax Assessment ACT 1997 Sec 703.5 explains. What is a consolidated group? 1. A consolidated group comes into existence A. On the day specified in a choice by a company under Section 703-50 as the day on and after which a consolidatable group is taken to be consolidated. Or B. As described in Section 703-55, about creating a consolidated group from a MEC group. MEC stands for Multiple Entry Consolidated Group. Note: the day specified in a choice under Section 703-50 as the day on and after which a consolidatable group is taken to be consolidated may be a day before the choice is made. 2. The consolidated group continues to exist until the head company of the group A. ceases to be a head company, or B. becomes a member of a MEC group. The consolidated group ceases to exist when one of those events happens to the head company. Note: the group does not cease to exist in some cases where a shelf company is interposed between the head company and its former members. See subsection 615-30(2) and section 703-70. 3. At any time while it is in existence, the consolidated group consists of the head company and all of the subsidiary members, if any, of the group at the time. Note: a consolidated group continues to exist despite one or more entities ceasing to be subsidiary members of the group or becoming subsidiaries of the group, as long as the events described in subsection 2 do not happen to the head company. Thus, a consolidated group may come to consist of a head company alone at various times. Side note for MEC group. What is a MEC group? When MEC group comes into existence. 1. A MEC multiple entry consolidated group comes into existence when A. A choice by two or more eligible Tier 1 companies of a top company that the potential MEC group derived from those companies be consolidated starts to have effect under Section 719-55. Or B. A special conversion event happens to a potential MEC group derived from an eligible Tier 1 company of a top company. Original members of a MEC group that results from a choice. 2. A MEC group that results from a choice by two or more companies under Section 719-50 consists of the potential MEC group derived from time to time from whichever one or more of those companies continue to be eligible Tier 1 companies of the top company. This subsection has effect subject to subsection 4, which deals with new eligible Tier 1 members. Original members of a MEC group that results from a special conversion event. 3. A MEC group that results from a special conversion event consists of the potential MEC group derived from time to time from whichever one or more of the following companies continue to be eligible Tier 1 companies of the top company. A. The company mentioned in paragraph 719-40, 1b. B. The company specified in the notice under paragraph 719-40, 1e. This subsection has effect subject to subsection 4, which deals with new eligible Tier 1 members. New eligible Tier 1 members of a MEC group. 4. If A. A MEC group consists of the members of a potential MEC group derived from one or more eligible Tier 1 companies of a top company, and B. At a particular time after the MEC group came into existence, one or more other companies become eligible Tier 1 companies of the top company, and C. The provisional head company of the MEC group makes a choice in writing no later than the day mentioned in subsection 6. I specifying one or more of the companies mentioned in paragraph B, and 2. Stating that the specified companies are to become members of the MEC group with effect from that time, and D. If I. A company specified in the choice was a member of another MEC group immediately before that time, and 2. All of the eligible Tier 1 companies in that other MEC group became eligible Tier 1 companies of the top company at that time. Each eligible Tier 1 company in that other MEC group is specified in the choice. Then, with effect from that time, the MEC group mentioned in paragraph A is taken to consist of the potential MEC group derived from time to time from whichever one or more of the following companies continue to be eligible Tier 1 companies of the top company. E. The companies mentioned in paragraph A. F. The companies specified in the choice. Note: The provisional head company of the group must give the Commissioner a notice in the approved form containing information about each entity that becomes a subsidiary member of the group on that day because of the choice. See sections 719 to 77 and 719 to 80. 5. To avoid doubt, paragraph 4a applies to a MEC group even if the composition of the group has been worked out because of one or more previous applications of subsection 4. 6. The day mentioned in paragraph 4c is a. If the company mentioned in subsection 6a is required to give the Commissioner its income tax return for the income year during which the time mentioned in paragraph 4b occurs the day on which that company gives the Commissioner that income tax return, or b. Otherwise the last day in the period within which that company would be required to give the Commissioner such a return if it were required to give the Commissioner such a return. 6a. The company is a. In a case where subsection 719-75, 1, or 2 applies, the company that will be the head company of the group as at the end of the income year, and b. In a case where subsection 719-75, 3 applies, the company that will be the head company of the group immediately before the group ceased to exist. Continued existence of MEC group. 7. If a MEC group, the first MEC group, consists of the members of a potential MEC group derived from one or more eligible Tier 1 companies of a top company, the first MEC group continues to exist until a. The potential MEC group ceases to exist, or b. There is a change in the identity of the top company, and the eligible Tier 1 companies that were members of the first MEC group immediately before the change become members of another MEC group immediately after the change, or c. There ceases to be a provisional head company of the first MEC group. The first MEC group ceases to exist when one of those events happens. Note: subsection 719-10(7) sets out the circumstances in which the potential MEC group ceases to exist. Word number 3. Consumer. Consumer has the meaning given by section 84 to 75 of GST Act. You can find this information on page 349 of volume 1. An entity is a consumer of a supply made to the entity if a. The entity is not registered, or b. If the entity is registered, the entity does not acquire the thing supplied solely or partly for the purpose of an enterprise that the entity carries on in the indirect tax zone. Note: a supplier may treat a recipient as not being a consumer if the supplier reasonably believes, based on certain information, that to be the case. See section 84 to 105. Word number 4. Contributing operator has the meaning given by subparagraph 80-5, 1c2, 80-40, 1c2 or 80-80, 1c2 of GST Act. You can find this information on page numbers 317, 322, and page number 325 of volume 1. Section 80-5, 1c2 states that under insurance policy settlement sharing arrangement, each other party, a contributing operator, is to make a payment to the managing operator in respect of that operator settling the claim. Section 80-40, 1c2 states that under nominal defendant settlement sharing arrangement, the other party, or one or more of the other parties, each being a contributing operator, is to make a payment to the managing operator in respect of that operator settling the claim. Section 80-80, 1c2, which states that under hybrid settlement sharing arrangement, each other party, a contributing operator, is to make a payment to the managing operator in respect of that operator settling the claim. Word number 5. Contributing operator's payment, a payment, to the extent that it is not a fee to the managing operator for managing the process of making settlements under the arrangement, is a contributing operator's payment. Word number 6. Contribution amount has the meaning given by paragraph 721-25, 1b, of the ITAA 1997.2 states that a particular amount, the contribution amount, could be determined under the agreement for each TSA contributing member in relation to the group liability. Word number 7. Corrected GST amount has the meaning given by paragraph 19-40, of GST Act. You can find this on page number 52 of volume 1. This states that, as a result of those adjustment events, the previously attributed GST amount for the supply, if any, no longer correctly reflects the amount of GST, if any, on the supply. The corrected GST amount, taking into account any change of circumstances that has given rise to an adjustment for the supply under this subdivision or division 21 or 134. Word number 8. Corrected input tax credit amount. Corrected input tax credit amount has the meaning given by paragraph 19-70(c) of GST Act. You can find this on page number 54 of volume 1. Section 19-70(c) states that, as a result of those adjustment events, the previously attributed input tax credit amount for the acquisition, if any, no longer correctly reflects the amount of the input tax credit, if any, on the acquisition, the corrected input tax credit amount. We will discuss more about this in our later videos. Word number 9. Course materials. In relation to an education course, means materials provided by the entities supplying the courses that are necessarily consumed or transformed by the students undertaking the course for the purposes of the course. Word number 10. Creditable acquisition has the meaning given by section 11-5 of GST Act. You can find this on page number 33 of volume 1. You make a creditable acquisition if A. You acquire anything solely or partly for a creditable purpose, and B. The supply of the thing to you is a taxable supply, and C. You provide, or are liable to provide, consideration for the supply, and D. You are registered or required to be registered. Word number 11. Creditable at less than 1/11th of the consideration has the meaning given by subsection 136-52. That is page number 62 of volume 2. A creditable acquisition is creditable at less than 1/11th of the consideration if the taxable supply to which it relates is taxable at less than 1/11th of the price. That was it for page number 178. This was first section of this video. Now we will head to section 2. Now we will explain words on page number 179 of division 195 of GST Act volume 2. This will be section 2 of this video, for dictionary. Please find words on screen. 12. Creditable importation. 13. Creditable purpose. 14. CTP ancillary payment or supply. 15. CTP compensation or ancillary payment or supply. 16. CTP compensation payment or supply. 17. CTP dual premium or election payment or supply. 18. CTP hybrid payment or supply. 19. CTP premium. Word number 12. Creditable importation has the meaning given by section 15-5 of GST Act. Note, this meaning is affected by sections 60-10 and 69-5. You can find these sections on page number 42, page number 223 and on page number 242. Section 15-5 states, meaning of creditable purpose. You make a creditable importation if A. You import goods solely or partly for a creditable purpose, and B. The importation is a taxable importation, and C. You are registered or required to be registered. Section 60-10 states that registration etc. not needed for input tax credits. 1. If you make a pre-establishment acquisition, the fact that you are not registered or required to be registered does not stop the acquisition being a creditable acquisition. 2. If you make a pre-establishment importation, the fact that you are not registered or required to be registered does not stop the acquisition being a creditable importation. 3. This section has effect despite sections 11-5 and 15-5, which are about what are creditable acquisitions and creditable importations. Section 69-5 states that non-deductible expenses do not give rise to creditable acquisitions or creditable importations. We will discuss about this in more details in future videos. To stay updated, please subscribe to our channel. Meanwhile, you can read page number 242 of Volume 1 GST Act. Word number 13. Creditable purpose. Creditable purpose means A. In relation to the acquisition of a thing, has the meaning given by sections 11-15 and 60-20, and B. In relation to the importation of a thing, has the meaning given by sections 15-10 and 60-20, and C. In relation to the application of a thing acquired or imported, has the meaning given by section 129-50. Note, this meaning is affected by sections 70-10. We will discuss more about creditable purpose and details in future. For now, in simple words, creditable purpose can relate to a business expense that is not input taxed. Word number 14. CTP ancillary payment or supply has the meaning given by subsection 79-35(3). Note: Section 79 to 90 also treats certain payments or supplies as CTP ancillary payments or supplies. You can find these sections on page number 305 and 312 of GST Act 1999 Volume 1. Subsection 79-35(3) states: Meaning of CTP ancillary payment or supply. A payment or supply is a CTP ancillary payment or supply if A. The payment or supply is made under a compulsory third-party scheme, and B. The payment or supply is of a kind specified in the regulations, and C. It is not the case that the operator making the payment or supply was required to do so by law because of the bankruptcy or insolvency of another operator who is an insurer, and D. Division 78 does not apply in relation to the payment or supply, and E. The payment or supply is not a CTP dual premium or election payment or supply or a CTP hybrid payment or supply, and F. The payment or supply is not made in settlement of a claim for compensation under the scheme, and G. The payment or supply is not consideration for a creditable acquisition. And Section 79 to 90 states, effective judgments and court orders. We will discuss more about this in our future videos. To get instant updates on video release, please do subscribe to our channel. Word number 15. CTP compensation or ancillary payment or supply has the meaning given by subsection 79-35(1). This subsection is on page number 305 of GST Act on Volume 1. Subsection 79-35(1) states: Meaning of CTP compensation or ancillary payment or supply. 1. A payment or supply is a CTP compensation or ancillary payment or supply if it is a CTP compensation payment or supply or a CTP ancillary payment or supply. Word number 16. CTP compensation payment or supply has the meaning given by subsection 79-35(2). Note: Section 79 to 90 also treats certain payments or supplies as CTP compensation payments or supplies. You can find these sections on page number 305 and 312 of GST Act 1999 Volume 1. And Section 79 to 90 states, effective judgments and court orders. We will discuss more about this in our future videos. To get instant updates on video release, please do subscribe to our channel. Subsection 79-35(2) states: Meaning of CTP compensation payment or supply. A payment or supply is a CTP compensation payment or supply if A. It is a payment or supply made under a compulsory third-party scheme, and B. It is a payment or supply made in settlement of a claim for compensation under the scheme, and C. It is not the case that the operator making the payment or supply was required to do so by law because of the bankruptcy or insolvency of another operator who is an insurer, and D. Division 78 does not apply in relation to the payment or supply, and E. The payment or supply is not a CTP dual premium or election payment or supply or a CTP hybrid payment or supply. Word number 17. CTP dual premium or election payment or supply means a payment or supply to which section 79-5 or 79-15 applies. Word number 18. CTP hybrid payment or supply has the meaning given by section 79-25. You can find this section on page number 304 of Volume 1. Section 79-25 states: Meaning of CTP hybrid payment or supply. Subject to this section, a payment or supply is a CTP hybrid payment or supply if A. It is made in settlement of a claim for compensation under a compulsory third-party scheme, and B. The claim would not have been made but for an insurance policy issued under the scheme, and C. The claim was not made under the insurance policy. 2. A payment or supply is not a CTP hybrid payment or supply if A. When the payment or supply is made, the entity that paid the premium for the insurance policy cannot be located, and B. That entity did not, at or before the time the operator making the payment or supply was first made aware of the circumstances to which the payment or supply relates, inform the operator of the entitlement to an input tax credit for the CTP premium it paid, and C. The premium selection test was not satisfied in relation to the insurance policy. 2a. Subsection 2 does not apply if the cover under the insurance policy commenced before July 1, 2003, whether or not all or part of the premium on the policy was paid before that day. 3. A payment or supply is not a CTP hybrid payment or supply if the asterisk operator making the payment or supply was required to do so by law because of the bankruptcy or insolvency of another operator who is an insurer. Word number 19. CTP premium. CTP premium in relation to a compulsory third-party scheme means a. A payment of a premium, contribution or similar payment under the scheme, or b. A payment of levy in connection with the scheme. That was it for page number 179, friends. This was section 2 of this video. Now we will head to section 3. Now, we will explain words on page number 180 of Division 195 of GST Act Volume 2. This is section 3 of this video, for dictionary. Please find words on screen. 20. Current GST lodgement record. 21. Current GST turnover. 22. Customs clearance area. 23. Customs duty. 24. Customs value. 25. Dealer in precious metal. 26. Decreasing adjustment. Word number 20. Current GST lodgement record has the meaning given by section 162 to 10. You can find this word on page number 110. Your current GST lodgement record. 1. If you are not a member of a GST group, your current GST lodgement record is the period immediately preceding the current tax period applying to you, that is covered by tax periods applying to you for which you have given GST returns to the Commissioner. 2. If you are a member of a GST group, your current GST lodgement record is the period immediately preceding the current tax period applying to you, that is covered by tax periods applying to you. A. For which you have given GST returns to the Commissioner, and B. During which the membership of the GST group has not changed. 3. However, if you have been, but are not currently, the representative member of a GST group, any tax periods applying to you during which you were such a representative member are not to be counted towards your current GST lodgement record. Word number 21. Current GST turnover has the meaning given by section 188 to 15. Note, this meaning is affected by section 188 to 22. You can find these sections on page numbers 161 and 163 of GST Act Volume 2. Current GST turnover general. 1. Your current GST turnover at a time during a particular month is the sum of the values of all the supplies that you have made, or are likely to make, during the 12 months ending at the end of that month, other than a. Supplies that are input taxed, or b. Supplies that are not for consideration, and are not taxable supplies under section 72 to 5, or c. Supplies that are not made in connection with an enterprise that you carry on. Members of GST groups. Current GST turnover for members of GST groups is very similar to individual entities, only difference is that this applies to all members of GST group. 3. In working out your current GST turnover, disregard a. Any supply that is not connected with the indirect tax zone, and b. Any supply that is connected with the indirect tax zone because of paragraph 9-25(5)(c) unless I. The supply is made to an Australian consumer, and 2. The supply is not GST-free, and 3. The thing to be acquired under the right or option referred to in that paragraph is not goods or real property, and d. Any GST-free supply made by a non-resident that does not make the supply through an enterprise that the non-resident carries on in the indirect tax zone. Word number 22. Customs clearance area means a place identified under Section 234A of the Customs Act 1901. 234A of the Customs Act 1901 states that places set aside for purposes of Act 1. Where a place A is to be used by officers I. For questioning, for the purposes of this Act or of any other law of the Commonwealth, passengers or crew disembarking from or embarking on a ship or aircraft, or 2. For examining, for such purposes, the personal baggage of such passengers or crew, or 3. As a holding place for such passengers or crew, or B. Is covered by a notice under subsection 3. A collector, or a person authorized by a collector to do so, may cause signs to be displayed at or near the place that identify the place and state that entry into it by unauthorized persons is prohibited by this Act. 2. Where a sign is displayed in relation to a place under subsection 1, a collector, or a person authorized by a collector to do so, may cause signs to be displayed at or near the place that identify the place and indicate, whether in words or images, that the use of a. Cameras or sound recorders, or b. Mobile phones or other electronic forms of communication at the place by unauthorized persons is prohibited by this Act. 3. The Comptroller General of Customs may publish a notice in the Gazette specifying, as an area to which this section applies, an area of a port, or an airport, appointed under Section 15. 4. An area specified in such a notice must comprise one or more of the following areas. A. Areas that are used by, or frequented by, passengers who have arrived in Australia until they have passed through the last point at which they or their baggage are normally subject to processing by officers. B. Areas that are used by, or frequented by, passengers who are about to depart Australia after they have passed through the first point at which they are normally subject to processing by officers. C. Areas that are in the vicinity of areas referred to in paragraph A or B. Word number 23. Customs duty means any duty of customs imposed by that name under a law of the Commonwealth, other than a. The A New Tax System, Goods and Services Tax Imposition, Customs, Act 1999, or a. The A New Tax System, Goods and Services Tax Imposition, Recipients, Customs, Act 2005, or b. The A New Tax System, Wine Equalization Tax Imposition, Customs, Act 1999, or b. The A New Tax System, Luxury Car Tax Imposition, Customs, Act 1999. Word number 24. Customs value, in relation to goods, means the customs value of the goods for the purposes of Division 2 of Part 8 of the Customs Act 1901. Customs value, in relation to imported goods, has the meaning given by Section 159. Word number 25. Dealer in precious metal means an entity that satisfies the commissioner that a principal part of carrying on its enterprise is the regular supply and acquisition of precious metal. Word number 26. Decreasing adjustment. Due to vast meaning of decreasing adjustment, we have decided to discuss this more depth in our future videos. To stay updated, subscribe to our channel. That was it for page number 180, friends. This was section 3 of this video. Now we will head to section 4. Now, we will explain words on page number 181 of Division 195 of GST Act Volume 2. This is section 4 of this video, for dictionary. Please find words on screen. 27. Dental practitioner. Dental practitioner has the meaning given by subsection 3(1) of the Health Insurance Act 1973. This states that dental practitioner means a person who is registered under the national law in the dental profession. That was it for page number 181, friends. This was section 4 of this video. Now we will head to section 5. Now, we will explain words on page number 182 of Division 195 of GST Act Volume 2. This is section 5 of this video, for dictionary. Please find words on screen. 28. Deposit account. 29. Derived. 30. Digital currency. 31. Disability Services Minister. Word number 28. Deposit account. An account is a deposit account if a. The account is made available by an Australian ADI, within the meaning of the Corporations Act 2001, in the course of carrying on a banking business, within the meaning of the Banking Act 1959, and b. Amounts credited to the account represent money taken by the ADI on deposit, other than as part payment for identified goods or services, and c. Amounts credited to the account do not relate to a debenture, as defined in Section 9 of the Corporations Act 2001 of the ADI. Word number 29. Derived has a meaning affected by subsection 6-5(4) of the ITAA 1999. This states that in working out whether you have derived an amount of ordinary income, and if so, when you derived it, you are taken to have received the amount as soon as it is applied or dealt with in any way on your behalf or as you direct. Word number 30. Digital currency. Digital currency means digital units of value that A. Are designed to be fungible, and B. Can be provided as consideration for a supply, and C. Are generally available to members of the public without any substantial restrictions on their use as consideration, and D. Are not denominated in any country's currency, and E. Do not have a value that depends on, or is derived from, the value of anything else, and F. Do not give an entitlement to receive, or to direct the supply of, a particular thing or things, unless the entitlement is incidental to I. Holding the digital units of value, or 2. Using the digital units of value as consideration, but does not include G. Money, or H. A thing that, if supplied, would be a financial supply for a reason other than being a supply of one or more digital units of value to which paragraphs A to F apply. Word 31. Disability Services Minister means the minister administering the National Disability Insurance Scheme Act 2013. That was it for page number 182, friends. This was section 5 of this video. Now we will head to section 6. Now, we will explain words on page number 183 of Division 195 of GST Act Volume 2. This is section 6 of this video, for dictionary. Please find words on screen. 32. Dividend. 33. Early net amount. 34. Education course. 35. Education institution. 36. Electronic communication. 37. Electronic distribution platform. 38. Electronic lodgement turnover threshold. 39. Electronic payment. 40. Eligible Australian carbon credit unit. Word number 32. Dividend has the meaning given by subsections 6, 1, 4, and 5 of the ITAA 1936, which states dividend includes A. Any distribution made by a company to any of its shareholders, whether in money or other property, and B. Any amount credited by a company to any of its shareholders as shareholders, but does not include D. Monies paid or credited by a company to a shareholder or any other property distributed by a company to shareholders, not being monies or other property to which this paragraph, by reason of subsection 4, does not apply, or monies paid or credited, or property distributed for the redemption or cancellation of a redeemable preference share, where the amount of the monies paid or credited, or the amount of the value of the property, is debited against an amount standing to the credit of the share capital account of the company, or E. Monies paid or credited, or property distributed, by a company for the redemption or cancellation of a redeemable preference share if I. The company gives the holder of the share a notice when it redeems or cancels the share, and 2. The notice specifies the amount paid up on the share immediately before the cancellation or redemption, and 3. The amount is debited to the company's share capital account, except to the extent that the amount of those monies or the value of that property, as the case may be, is greater than the amount specified in the notice as the amount paid up on the share, or F. A reversionary bonus on a life assurance policy. Note, subsection 4 sets out when paragraph D of this definition does not apply. Word number 33. Early net amount has the meaning given by subsection 162-145(3). You can find this information on page number 82 of GST Act Volume 2, which states your early net amounts for the financial year are your assessed net amounts for any tax periods that A. started, or would but for section 27 to 35 have started, at the start of or during that financial year, and B. ended before the start of the installment tax period applying to you that forms part of that financial year. Note, under section 27 to 35, the start or finish of a 3-month tax period could vary by up to 7 days from the start or finish of a normal quarter. Word number 34. Education course means A. A preschool course, or B. A primary course, or C. A secondary course, or D. A tertiary course, or F. A special education course, or G. An adult and community education course, or H. An English language course for overseas students, or I. A first aid or life-saving course, or J. A professional or trade course, or K. A tertiary residential college course. Word 35. Education institution has the meaning given by subsection 3(1) of the Student Assistance Act 1973. Registered Training Organization (RTO) is not defined in the GST Act. However, the term is defined in Student Assistance Act (SAA) Determination Number 2002/1, Determination of Education Institutions and Courses under subsection 3(1) and 5(d)(1) of the Student Assistance Act 1973 as being an organization that is registered by the relevant state or territory training recognition authority in accordance with the Australian Recognition Framework to provide one or more vocational education and training programs. Word number 36. Electronic communication has the same meaning as in the Electronic Transactions Act 1999. Word number 37. Electronic distribution platform has the meaning given by section 84 to 70. You can find this section on page number 347 of GST Act. Meaning of electronic distribution platform. 1. A service, including a website, internet portal, gateway, store or marketplace, is an electronic distribution platform if a. The service allows entities to make supplies available to end users, and b. The service is delivered by means of electronic communication, and c. Any of the supplies that are inbound intangible consumer supplies are to be made by means of electronic communication. 2. However, a service is not an electronic distribution platform solely because it is a. A carriage service, within the meaning of the Telecommunications Act 1997, or b. A service consisting of one or more of the following. I. Providing access to a payment system. 2. Processing payments. 3. Providing vouchers, the supply of which are not taxable supplies because of section 100 to 5. Word number 38. Electronic lodgement turnover threshold has the meaning given by subsection 31-25(4). You can find this information on page 92 of GST Act Volume 1. This states, the electronic lodgement turnover threshold is a. $20 million or b. Such higher amount as the regulations specify. Word number 40. Electronic payment means a payment by way of electronic transmission, in an electronic format approved by the Commissioner. Word number 41. Eligible Australian Carbon Credit Unit means a. A Kyoto Australian Carbon Credit Unit, within the meaning of the Carbon Credits, Carbon Farming Initiative, Act 2011, or b. A non-Kyoto Australian Carbon Credit Unit, within the meaning of that Act, issued in relation to an eligible offsets project, within the meaning of that Act, for a reporting period, within the meaning of that Act, where if it were assumed that the reporting period had ended before the Kyoto abatement deadline, within the meaning of that Act, a Kyoto Australian Carbon Credit Unit would have been issued in relation to the project for the reporting period instead of the non-Kyoto Australian Carbon Credit Unit. And 2. The non-Kyoto Australian Carbon Credit Unit is not of a kind specified in the regulations, or c. An Australian Carbon Credit Unit, within the meaning of that Act, of a kind specified in the regulations. Subparagraph B2 and paragraph C do not, by implication, limit the application of subsection 13(3) of the Legislation Act 2003 to other instruments under this Act. That was it for page number 183, friends. This was section 6 of this video. Now we will head to section 6. Now, we will explain words on page number 184 of Division 195 of GST Act Volume 2. This is last section 7 of this video, for dictionary. Please find words on screen. 41. Eligible Emissions Unit. 42. Eligible International Emissions Unit. 43. Employee Share Scheme. 44. Indoors Charity. 45. English Language Course for Overseas Students. Word number 41. Eligible Emissions Unit means a. An eligible International Emissions Unit, or b. An eligible Australian Carbon Credit Unit. Word number 42. Eligible International Emissions Unit has the same meaning as in the Australian National Registry of Emissions Units Act 2011. Word 43. Employee Share Scheme has the meaning given by the ITAA 1997. Word 44. Endorsed charity means an entity that is endorsed as a charity under subsection 176-11. You can find this section on page number 147 of this volume. Endorsement by Commissioner as charity. 1. The Commissioner must endorse an entity as a charity if a. The entity is entitled to be endorsed as a charity, see subsection 2, and b. The entity has applied for that endorsement in accordance with Division 426 and Schedule 1 to the Taxation Administration Act 1953. 2. An entity is entitled to be endorsed as a charity if the entity a. is an ACNC registered charity, and b. has an ABN. Word number 45. English language course for overseas students means a course of study or education supplied to overseas students that a. includes study or education in the English language, and b. is supplied by an entity that is accredited to provide such courses by a state or territory authority responsible for their accreditation. That was it for this video, friends. We have discussed dictionary words meanings from pages from 178 to 184. We will discuss more in our next videos. To get instant updates, subscribe to our channel or please check out GST playlist on our YouTube channel. Question and answer activity. That was it for this video, friends. This is a question and answer activity for you. Answering these questions will improve your understanding of this act. You can use this video or GST Act Volume 2 from pages 178 to 184 to answer these questions. There is a link in description box below. For a free digital copy of question sheet, please feel free to contact us. Question 1. What is consolidated group for GST purposes? 2. What is creditable purpose? 3. What is current GST lodgement record? 4. What is dental practitioner? 5. What is deposit account? 6. What is digital currency? 7. What is eligible emissions unit? That was it for this video. If you have any questions in relation to this section, please don't hesitate to contact us. Please check out whole playlist about GST on our channel. Thanks for watching. To support us, subscribe to our channel.